I'd like to welcome in now News Nation's chief Washington anchor, as well as host of On Balance, Leland Vittert, who is live there at the RNC in Milwaukee. Leland, great to see you. Describe the situation on the ground there at the RNC from your perspective as a journalist. You've been to a lot of these conventions. How are things different from what you were seeing this year compared to years past?
If you're going to talk about it in terms of security, it's pretty much all the same. There's been some minor tweaks, but it's hard to tell how much of that is simply because today is the first official day of the convention. They've been going through bags a little more carefully. You need a certain kind of credential to get even inside the perimeter. So minor tweaks, but the way it looks, right, is pretty much the same. They turn about 7 square blocks of a downtown into a steel fortress. And to get in, you have to go through basically airline security. So I brought, and you can bring your water bottle and computers and that kind of stuff, but it's very rigorous. You pass hundreds upon hundreds of police officers as you walk through these 7 square blocks here. In terms of what's happening behind me, there is a difference. I've yet to be at a political convention since the 2008 Obama convention where there was this much energy and this much excitement behind the candidate. Because usually political conventions are a little bit like family reunions. There's different factions, and everybody's kind of happy to be there, but there's different feelings and things rub a little differently. Not the case at all here. This is a party completely united around Donald Trump. And if they weren't united, which they may not have been before Saturday, they certainly are now. That what makes what's going to happen in the next couple of hours all the more important. The vice presidential pick has really kind of taken a completely elevated view from being a political asterisk to being something that the American people are really looking at. And I think you are going to get a real sense of how Donald Trump views the future of the Republican Party and also what group he is trying to speak to with his vice presidential pick. Somebody like a Marco Rubio or a Doug Burgum, a surprise pick outside of the list, that speaks much more to trying to reach out to the center and also to reassure America that, hey, look, I'm picking somebody who that if something happens to me, and we know that it could, the country is in good hands. J.D. Vance is much more of an America First pick. That is focused squarely on the base and on ensuring his legacy not only post-convention, post-election, but into 2028 as well. So looking forward, that is the decision and the discussion here informed by the events of this weekend.
I mean, so Leland, how likely is it, do you think, that the pick will be none of the men that we saw on that graphic as you were speaking there? And is it possible that Trump will throw an absolute curveball? I mean, we know, for example, former candidate Nikki Haley has been invited to speak. I mean, is it possible that she may be in the running as well and it'll be a surprise pick at the last minute?
Nichole, I have covered Donald Trump since 2015. Anything, and I mean anything, is possible, right? So, yes, it could be Nikki Haley, who's now been given a spot to speak at the convention. It could be Glenn Youngkin, the governor of Virginia, who flipped Virginia from blue to red by a 10-point swing. And he was the guy who now is talking about Virginia being in play for Republicans. So, yes, anything's possible. That's why we're here. And for the first time in my time as a political journalist, both conventions are fascinating. We thought the RNC was going to be boring. It's not. We thought the DNC is going to be boring. It's not. These are 2 weeks in American politics that A, could change the course of the country, and B, we will all remember.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.